Hi, everybody. This is Tommy Lasorda. Listen to The Sandlot, the best thing that could happen to you.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Are you crying?
It's a part of our past, Ray.
There's no crying.
It reminds us of all that once was good.
There's no crying in baseball.
Just a bit outside.
Baseball will be very, very good to me.
It's a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
Personally, I think we got hosed on that.
The Sandlot Radio Network is on the air. And now, starting pitcher for the Sandlot, former pro player and Major League scout, Ted Howard.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
It's Derek Jeter, New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome back to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by Terramar Collective and sponsored by the Sandlot Radio Network, Grit Sports Collective, Guzmani Gomez, and by Freestyle Pools Sydney. You can tune into the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast every weekend on Sirius XM Radio MLB Network podcast platform and on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Pandora, Apple Music, and Simplecast. The last show was the first of 2026, and we featured the face and the voice of the Blue Sox broadcast. That's the Sydney Blue Sox of the Australian Baseball League. We featured Andrew Reynolds. I'll be working with Andrew this weekend, assisting him as his color commentator during the Sydney Blue Sox and Brisbane Bandits live stream. Last week, we also had Baseball Australia Hall of Famer, now the Director of High Performance for Baseball New South Wales, Graham Castle. This week on the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast, we have one of the best female baseball players in the world, a local product from the Cronulla Association. She was the 29th overall pick in the latest Women's Professional Baseball League draft. This is a pro league that will kick off in America in August of 2026. This young lady attended my sons Cade and Cody's baseball camps in the Cronulla area when she was very young. We have the good fortune featuring Ticara Geldenhuis. We also have a silver medalist in the 2024 Olympics for Australia in baseball, a young man I've known since he was 11 years old. His son Cal is now playing college baseball in Texas. We have young Gavin Fingleson. We also have our Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast champion character of the week from our baseball camp at the Como Comics baseball field in Janali, New South Wales. We have Leo V. Hill. We're going to start you off with the newest member of the Boston Women's Professional Baseball Team, Ticara Geldenhuis. Ticara, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Girls in baseball. Nowadays, it's really a trend because we got a pro league. But when you were a little girl, there wasn't a pro league. There was no Olympics for girls baseball. There was no World Cup, maybe even when you were a little girl. I don't even think there was a World Cup for girls back then. But when you started playing this game, it was because your dad was a ball player. Let's talk about the exposure you had to the game at a young age, why you chose baseball, and why you stuck with it.
So pretty much my mom told me that I had been next to a baseball field from when I was born. So pretty much a few days old, I was at baseball, and I just grew up being around, watching my dad play, playing with all my friends and all of his friends' kids. So baseball is always a really fun thing to do. And I was like, yeah, we get to go to baseball today. And when we moved to Australia, my dad just put me into baseball, and I didn't really have a choice, baseball or softball. I didn't even know softball was a thing. So I just stuck in baseball, and I played with the Comets team all my juniors pretty much till I was 18.
And
so, yeah.
Always with the boys. Always with the boys. And that's really cool. And we talked before, you had some really good exposure at a young age because not only did you have Pete Munro, but my two boys, Cade and Cody Powers, came down here when you were 10, 11, and 12, and they ran baseball camp just like I am right now. And luckily, you were able to get taught some very cool stuff at a young age. For instance, you did a demo the other day at camp. Thanks so much for helping, by the way. The kids were so impressed. by you, and so was I, because what I realize is the things that you did learn young and you've continued to do, they translate into you being a really good ball player and being able to demonstrate a figure 4 pop-up slide to perfection for the kids is huge, because so many people don't know how to do it right, and you can get hurt sliding. So it's one of the things we spend a lot of time on in camp, because by the end of the 5 days I spend with them, I want them to be able to slide.
Yeah.
And you just
it's such a fundamental part of the game. It's like sliding is the difference of safe and out.
So many times.
So stolen bases, scoring, like so many things rely on being able to slide and slide properly and safely.
Yes, safely, especially because you see a lot of people get hurt doing that slide. So it's just a technique thing, and it has to be perfected, which you've done. And it's impressive, because I haven't seen a whole lot of girls slide right.
Thank you. No, I will definitely give that up to Kate and Cody. Like, there are probably 3 huge fundamental things I learned at their camp that have transferred all the way through my baseball. Like, for example, one is the sliding, and now I'm an avid base stealer, like love to steal a couple bases here and there, and sliding is so important. And then another big thing I learned from them was drop stepping, which now I'm an outfielder, and that's basically the key. And then also I remember we did a tagging drill with them, and I grew up as a middle infielder, and I was always complimented on how smoothly I would tag. And yeah, I think like those 3 key things are like were drilled into us as Kate and Cody. So it's really, really cool now growing up and being able to look back and like meet you and seeing the drills you did with the kids yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, I did that at that age.
Yeah, and you do see the difference that it makes with the kids, because even in just one day, the one kid in particular was really struggling the first day, but by day 2, things were starting to work a little bit better for him, and he started to do some stuff that brought him joy. And that's what is the reason I do this, and I see it with you too. You see the joy in a kid's face when they barrel the ball, or they make a good play and make a good throw to get an out. Those are things that until they learn the basic fundamentals, they don't experience a whole lot of success doing those things. But man, you saw the joy in young Billy's face when he put the ball on the barrel.
Oh, he couldn't believe it at first.
Well, if you've never done it before, it is kind of a thing where you're like, it's a shock, because it's a different feeling than of the times you've hit it on the handle or just didn't hit it at all.
Yeah, that's so true.
I had a chance to see you for 4 hours and then get do a little bit of work with you on things that are very important for outfielders and also just for hitting. And what was cool to just watch how fundamentally sound you are, and to see that when you do a drill, you do it with precision. And that's what I'm trying to get the kids to do, is to not half-heartedly go through the drill, to actually perfect the drill. And we've seen, like today, especially the kids that are now on their 4th day, especially in that hitting warm-up, their stance looks better. They're starting to pull those hands inside so the barrel is crossing the plate. So again, running, throwing, fielding, hitting, power hitting, the 5 things that scouts look at, the 5 things that you got evaluated on in order for you to get selected in this Women's Professional Baseball League draft. They would have had those 5 same things they would have been looking at in you. And so for me, we teach those things. We spend a lot of time on those things. And then the 6th thing that we spend time on is the makeup of the kid. We encourage them to be a good family member, a good student, a good teammate. And then that translates into being a good sportsman.
1,000%.
And you got a chance to see a little bit that with our Champs program, that we try to instill themes that different ideas that they need to think about off the baseball field that are important, that make you a better person. And as you're finding out,
1,000%.
you played this game long enough to know the level of character that it builds by being a baseball athlete and a teammate. You become a different level of person, responsibility-wise, dedication-wise, having somebody else's back. These are all things that we get to experience in this game.
Yeah, it's the blessing of baseball.
It really is. There's so many of them. And when I see you smile the way you do when you're out there doing this stuff, I can tell that you appreciate those blessings. And the good ones are yet to come for you, because this new pro league, it's like a league of their own, just like we saw in the movies. But back then it was a league that it was kind of an experimental thing, because so many of the MLB players had gone away to be in the war, that they just had to have entertainment. And so it lasted 10 years. It was a great thing. It was a great thing for Middle America at that time. It's ironic they brought the league back to Middle America. It's not far from where a lot of those games were played way back in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's like very rare that you get to be a part of something at the very start of its history. And so like this being the like inaugural year is so exciting, and like also being so grateful for the previous league and all that stuff that's like blended into this. I know there's some players that are still alive and are around, so that's really exciting too. So yeah.
There's the WNBA, and it's now been around 20, maybe even 25 years. So let's just hope and pray that this league has that kind of a life, because you being a young player that's going in its first year, you got a chance to have a long future in this league as long as it's successful.
Yeah. 1,000%. That's the plan. As long as I'm healthy, I'll be there.
That's right. And at your age, you got 10 to 15 year playing career, but then you also look at all the jobs that it creates within the game for coaches and front office people. It means that you can have a job in the game beyond being a player. And, you know, that's something that I had to explore because I played till I was 38, seriously. And then after that, you can still play for fun, but it's not going to be as serious as it was before. And that's one of the joys of baseball. You can play it until you're really old. And I love that about Australia. So many of my mates are still playing into their 40s and 50s because it's a game that you can play, but you might be a little banged up on Monday.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And you think about some of the guys, because you play on Pete's men's team, the Como Cubs, or I guess they're Bonnet Bay Cubs, whatever. But they basically are a bunch of grown men that are between, young ones are 20s or 18s, and the old ones are 40. So there's a
we verse people like that say that be in their 50s.
Yeah. So you see all levels of players, all ages of players, and the ones that are still playing in their 40s and 50s, they got to love the game. Because if you talk to Mardo on a Monday when he goes to work and he's got to do construction, he's feeling it. And it's, you know, it takes a huge commitment.
Yeah. Yeah, well, our first game back was this past weekend, and Salabay came and he was limping and his neck was sore. And I was like, oh, what's wrong? He's like, oh, the last game we played, I'm still sore. I'm like, that was a month ago. And he's like, yeah, my body's not the same.
Well, it's true, you know, and he'd be a guy that's in his early 40s now. And at that age, man, it's hard to keep those things moving the way we used to. And I'm fortunate enough that I do these camps and I get to do all this instruction where I'm moving the same way I've always moved. As long as you don't ever stop making the movements, then they're not hard.
True.
I just can't do them. I can't do them as fast as I used to.
I feel sore, so I wonder how I'm going to feel when I'm older.
Well, Ticara, again, it's such an honor to have you on the show. It's an honor to have you help me do the camp. And I'm sure hoping that next week when we do our hitting camp and our pitching and catching camp that you got a little time and you can come back down because we have bigger numbers, number one. And number two, the kids love you and they all know you. And you're an inspiration for them because you give them this thing that's above them that they can shoot for. And now that there's a pro league, it's on another level.
No, hopefully I get to come down. I had so much fun yesterday. So, yeah.
All right, well, Michael Campbell's going to make a guest appearance as well. So that'd be cool to have Cambo and you down there on the same day.
Well, did you know Michael Campbell's wife played for Australia?
Well, that's very good information to know. Is she no longer playing?
No, she doesn't play anymore.
Okay. Well, that's really cool information, and I will have to. It's a good thing that a baseball guy married a baseball gal because there's not a whole lot of baseball gals out there. All right, Ticara, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go away. We have more from Ticara when we return to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot's presented by Terramar Collective. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays, even the girls.
This is Glenn Williams, former Major League player and current CEO of Baseball Australia, and you're listening to the Sandlot Radio Network.
I think I'll go on and walk about and find out what it's all about. And that ain't hard.
GYG has just reinvented the Caesar with our new Caesar salad, Caesar burrito, and Caesar Cali burrito. And I bet you didn't know that Caesar was created in Tijuana, Mexico over 100 years ago by Caesar Cardini. And now we have made the Caesar uniquely GYG. Crunchy Cos lettuce, free-range grilled chicken, or gourmet Caesar dressing, shredded jack cheese, and GYG's corn chips crushed. GYG Caesar, created in Mexico, reinvented by GYG.
Terramar Collective isn't just a brand, it's a tribute. Born from the Southern California coast and inspired by the legacy of a father who helped shape the board riding world literally. Terramar Collective repurposes vintage flannels and rare finds, blending timeless style with surf heritage. Honor the past, wear the story. Find us on Instagram at Terramar Collective. When it comes to building your dream pool, experience matters. For 33 years, Freestyle Pools Sydney has delivered quality pools that stand the test of time. Brothers Rob and Ben personally manage every job from start to finish, working closely with skilled, reliable tradies who take pride in their work. With regular industry award-winning builds, the quality of Freestyle Pools truly stands out. Experience, craftsmanship, and service you can trust. Freestyle Pools Sydney, built for life.
Hi, everybody. This is Rick Mundy, former Major League player, former All-Star, and now broadcaster with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're tuned in exactly where you need to be. It's Sandlot, and it's baseball.
Talking baseball, the man and Bobby fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque.
Especially Shohei, Mookie, and the Judge. We're back with Ticara Geldenhuis. Thank you so much for sticking around, Ticara. One of the best girl baseball players I've ever met. I have to say, the best girl baseball players I ever met, I met here in Australia. Because, like I said, they played the game longer here. And in the Cronulla Association over the years, we had some really good girls that ended up playing in with the men because they were that good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now that you know what's funny? I've told some people about you coming out to help camp, and your name precedes you because everybody knows who you are here in the Shire anyway. And I had heard about you when I was out at the AYC last year as well. So a lot of people know who you are, and that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
When you're in a sport in a country that's kind of a really tight-knit sport like baseball, everybody kind of knows each other. And over the years, now that I've been doing it this long, some of the guys that I competed against now are now the CEOs of the Baseball Australia and the managers of different teams and scouts for the Pacific Rim. And these guys have been doing it for 30, 40 years, just like me. And the talent that I've seen come through Australia over the years has been amazing. And I've had a chance to sign some Aussies. And one thing that we have a term and endearment in baseball, Ticara, and it's called a baseball dirtbag. And that's someone that the manager loves. That's the player that gets dirty, that will run through a wall, that will block everything. They'll keep the ball in front of them. They'll wear one on the chin. They'll have the backs of their teammates. And I've seen that you play the game like that. Like somebody that plays the game hard. And over the years, Pete Monroe's one of those guys. He's a baseball dirtbag. So you got to learn from somebody that's gritty and that taught you how to play it hard. And seeing you do it as a female against men, that impressed me a lot because it's not easy to do that. And it's not easy to have confidence when you go out there. And I've noticed that you've got that as well.
Yeah, I mean, as a girl, you're already on the back foot with strength, power, speed. So for me, I never had a choice to kind of hesitant or play a little bit reserved. I've always had to go out and almost play like I'm trying to prove something because, like I said, you've got people that will have say or boys that will have something to say. So you kind of I had no choice but to go out there and rip in pretty much because, otherwise I'm just going to be outshined.
I like to say it's like playing with your hair on fire. That's how you got to go out there. And I've known a lot of Aussies over the years that play that way, and Pete was one of them. So you're fortunate to have learned from someone like him and to instill that toughness in you. And a lot of girls won't play it that way. So I think you're going to have an advantage over females.
Yeah, I feel like I always try, especially against the girls. We have a mate that I play against. I think I always try and play like a firecracker or like a pocket rocket, people say. Like I just try and like get stuff done. Sometimes you got to make it happen. The game moves quite slow sometimes. So I always go out there and try and make something happen. And I think that's probably the best part of my baseball.
Now, when you were growing up, was there any major league teams that you kind of focused on?
My dad always went for the Athletics, but I really loved Manny Machado because I was an infielder growing up. And like I would just see him make crazy cross infield throws, bullets. So Manny Machado was my favorite player growing up, so I'd always follow the Orioles. But as I got older and I became an outfielder and I really loved Mike Trout, then I like the Angels. So I feel like I team hop, but I follow play rather than team.
Well, that's good because we try to play like certain players, and the players that we admire the most are usually the teams that we like to watch. And, I grew up a Cub fan.
Yeah.
I learned too much about the Cubs to be a fan after 10 years of working for them. So when they won in 2016, it was bittersweet for me because as a kid, there was nothing I wanted more than for the Cubs to win the World Series, and it never happened. And it was always a heartbreak. And then I became a scout for the Cubs and spent 10 years, and then you want them to win even more. And then you find out, because you know too much, why they're not winning. And then it's just a disappointment. And then it's hard to be a fan. So I got to admit, I've been a Cub fan my whole life, and deep down I still am. But now I spend more time with the Dodgers, the Angels, and the Padres. So I like them more because I know the guys. Yeah. You get to know players, you kind of tend to like the teams they play for.
That's true. When I started, there was a point when I was maybe 16 or 17, and I just had this real urge to be perfect. And I had a few coaches perfection's not possible, blah blah blah. You need to have fun playing baseball, and I kind of went through a little bit of a rut where I wasn't having fun because I was just trying to be perfect. And so I tried to find that had really likable personality, and I fell in love with Mookie Betts and Kike Hernandez, who just go out there and they're absolute goofballs, but they know when to switch on and switch off. And if I honestly could say if I ever found their personalities on a baseball field, I don't know if I would have still played. So that's why, like I said, I tend to stick with players rather than teams.
Well, I've had Kike and I've had Mookie on the show, and they both are. They're having a lot of fun there. They're not guys that take being major league players for granted. They appreciate every single day, and they work super hard, but at the same time, man, they're having a ton of fun. And I got to throw Miggy Rojas in there, too, because every time I'm down there, I see that guy laughing and carrying on. And, man, when you can be at the job and having joy, that's really cool. And I want to see you doing that in baseball because it is a game that we want to be perfect, but it's also a game of failure. So we're going to do something well and still not have a result that looks good on paper, but we still got to look at it as something positive, because if we ever bring negativity in this game, it can bring us down and beat us hard.
Yeah, because it doesn't only bring you down as an athlete, but it brings you down as a person. And so I've worked really hard on trying to separate my athlete self from myself as a person, because I'm proud of both. And I obviously spend so much time training and playing baseball that it's why not have fun with it? One day I'm going to look back and I might not be able to be an athlete anymore. And it's okay, well, who am I now as a person? So, like you said, I always try and as much fun as possible and be as bubbly as possible so that they blend into each other without one pulling the other down.
So, Ticara, real quick, let's talk about how the process went. Where was the trials where you guys had a chance to get eyes on you? And then how did you get selected into the draft? Was it from those workouts? And when did all that take place? Okay,
so pretty much we got an email in August that said, if you want to come and trial for the league, trials are in Washington, D.C. on this date. I think it was mid-August. And it was only about 2 weeks notice. And I was like, oh gosh, this is going to cost me a lot of money to get over there. But there was a link to submit a recruiting video. So instead of filming a college-style recruiting video, essentially I just compiled as many clips as I could from live stream games, and I just submitted it to them and prayed for the best pretty much, because I couldn't afford to get over there. And then from that video, I was selected in the draft, and then the rest was up to them on where we got drafted, positions, and all that stuff. But yeah, I just crossed my fingers and prayed pretty much.
So this is almost a sight unseen thing. They based it on video, which was not possible back in the day. Our scouting jobs were way more important back then because we couldn't just do a video. But yeah, that's so cool that your video impressed that much that they drafted you 29th overall. That's pretty cool.
I pretty much didn't give them a choice. I think it was an 18-minute video. I just put in anything I could find, any hit, any good at bat, any catch, any good throw. Literally, I gave them years worth of footage and just said, please, I promise. I would be there if I could, but I just can't. But a lot of there were 4 Australians that went over and did the trial, and then 4 of us submitted a video.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, I'm really stoked for you and all the other girls. I'm going to come watch this summer. I'm going to get a chance to see this
Yay.
Boston Black Sox team that'll have a new name by then. She's Ticara Geldenhuis. She's one of the best young Aussie baseball players in the country. She's proven it by being selected in the Women's Professional Baseball League draft, 29th overalls, 9th in the second round. Ticara, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on The Sandlot.
Thank you for having me. It was awesome.
We're with our Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. He's our Sandlot Champion Character of the Week, Leo Vigil. Leo, thanks for being a guest on The Sandlot.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, how did you get involved in this game of baseball, Leo?
No, I really enjoy its physical game. It has a strong mental aspect, which is unlike many other sports. My dad also played baseball, so that helped me influence my decision.
All right. And you played some other sports too, right?
I played soccer and basketball, yeah.
Okay. But baseball's the one that you really love.
Yeah, I like it. Some of my best friends play baseball. I enjoy how it's like a team aspect, but there's also a lot of individuality. Like you go to the plate alone, you pitch alone, stuff like that.
And you're a lefty, so you're a rare breed in baseball.
I
am. And it gives you
yes, I am.
It gives you a lot of advantages, and a lot of people don't understand why. But being a lefty, it limits the positions that you can play, but it also gives you advantages as a pitcher and a hitter. And the fact that you're, as you found, there's 2 out of all our campers are left-handers, right? So it's just not that common. So it makes you special right out the gate, but you also have some skills and some talents. Let's talk about major league teams that have been an influence on you and that you've watched, and players that you watch and that you admire.
All right. My favorite team growing up was the Dodgers. I went to LA a lot, and my dad was from LA, which, helped me pick. But I recently just watched a documentary, actually, about the Red Sox, and it didn't just view baseball as a game, but also showed how the players are more than just players, which I think now I support the Red Sox.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Players on the Dodgers over the years that you've liked, because you've been doing this go to LA thing quite a bit, so you've seen the Dodgers over the years. They haven't had they only had Shohei for the last 2 years, and before that, he was with the Angels. So who are some of the players that you've liked on the Dodgers since you've been following them?
Oh, I really like Mookie Betts. When we came over last time, he was playing outfield, and he went 4 for 4, and that really just showed how amazing he is, even being just a little bit undersized. I like the story how he didn't make any of his teams growing up, so his mom actually made his own team.
Yeah,
I really like that. I also like Clayton Kershaw. He's a left-handed pitcher, and he has a really good curveball. He doesn't really get outs by overpowering them with speed, but he can get them out with curveballs and moving pitches. So I like those two.
Well, you're a young man, so you didn't get to see Clayton when he was younger, when he had that golden arm. And you don't get 3,000 strikeouts by not being a hard thrower. So at one point, actually, that dude could throw very hard. And you've seen him as a guy that relies on off speed and his very special curveball. And now it's a below average fastball. But back in the day, Clayton could bring it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was a very special left-handed pitcher. And he will go into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot, so he's a good one to like, too. What about Australian players? Do you follow the Blue Sox, or have you ever followed any of the ABL or the Australian national team, anything like that?
Not really, actually.
Yeah.
I don't really know much Australian players.
You do know that Travis Bazzana is a kid that grew up with
I do know him.
Karingai Steelers, and then he played for New South Wales, and then he went to Oregon State, and he was the number 1 overall pick in the MLB draft last year, which was kind of a big deal for baseball in Australia. And it gives young guys like you and other Aussies that play this game an incentive to keep playing this game.
Yeah, I definitely want to follow his path.
One of the reasons why players that are super athletes go in the game of baseball, just to give you an idea, when Travis signed, it was like $8.9 million. That's $13.5 million Australian dollars. There's Hall of Fame rugby guys that didn't make that in their whole career, and he's yet to play in the big leagues, and he's already made that money. And And then you look at the contract that Shohei has. That's a life changer for several generations, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why we hope that some of the best athletes in Australia continue to play this game of baseball. And Leo, we're sure glad that you do. You bring a lot of flair, too.
Oh, thank you.
One of the reasons we picked you as the champ of the week, coachability, honor. You got a good attitude most of the time. I've seen you, now that I've kind of forced you to be a leader, lead by example, which is an important thing. And that's a way of being a mentor. And then perseverance, meaning, sometimes we fail. We got to just get back in there and try again. And then being a good sportsman. That's one of the things that makes Leo a champ. You're a good sportsman. I see you encouraging some of the other kids in camp that may be not as good as you. And that's not the easiest thing to do, but it shows that you have compassion. And that's why you got chosen as our Sandlot champ of the week. So tomorrow I'll have a nice gift certificate from Guzmani Gomez for you. And I got a Sandlot hat for you as well, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
And I just want to thank you and your dad for being there this week, because you're a difference maker when you come to camp. When you come with the right attitude, you're a difference maker, and you can set a good example for the other kids. And because you're a little older, it gives them someone that they can look up to.
Yep.
So thank you, Leo. You're our Sandlot champ of the week.
All right, have a nice day.
G'day guys, it's Michael Candle of the Sydney Blue Sox. I'm a baseball lifer, and you're listening to the Sandlot Radio.
Terramar Collective isn't just a brand, it's a tribute. Born from the Southern California coast and inspired by the legacy of a father who helped shape the board riding world literally. Terramar Collective repurposes vintage flannels and rare finds, blending timeless style with surf heritage. Honor the past, wear the story. Find us on Instagram at Terramar Collective.
GYG has just reinvented the Caesar with our new Caesar salad, Caesar burrito, and Caesar Cali burrito. And I bet you didn't know that Caesar was created in Tijuana, Mexico over 100 years ago by Caesar Cardini. And now we have made the Caesar uniquely GYG.
Crunchy Cos lettuce, free-range grilled chicken, or gourmet Caesar dressing, shredded jack cheese, and GYG's corn chips crushed. GYG Caesar, created in Mexico, reinvented by GYG.
When it comes to building your dream pool, experience matters. For 33 years, Freestyle Pools Sydney has delivered quality pools that stand the test of time. Brothers Rob and Ben personally manage every job from start to finish, working closely with skilled, reliable tradies who take pride in their work. With regular industry award-winning builds, the quality of Freestyle Pools truly stands out. Experience, craftsmanship, and service you can trust. Freestyle Pools Sydney, built for life.
Hey everybody, this is Trevor Hoffman, a Hall of Famer and a San Diego Padre, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
We're with young Gavin Fingleson. Gavin, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. Finally, after 13 years of me doing this, 330 shows, I got Gav.
Amazing. I'm honored, man.
Well, I got to tell you,
I've heard about this for so long, and now it's time.
Well, we talked about this off air, but we have to tell the story. I come to Australia to play for the Sydney Metros. Bill McCall is the owner of the Sydney Metros. I'm living with him and his fiance and his fiance's mother. And they decide, we're going to play Saturday night, but Saturday day, we're going to go watch some junior baseball. So we go to Aquatic at French's Forest, where the Manly Seagulls, whatever they are, Manly, that's where they play.
Manly.
And right when I walk up, I hear this catcher who's super vocal, and I heard the coach for that team being super vocal and knowing a little more than I expected to hear out of Aussies as I walked up. And it turns out it's Gavin Fingleson behind the dish. He's fresh from South Africa, been in the country a couple of years. His dad, Frankie Fingleson's over there. He's coaching third base, as vocal and as knowledgeable about the game as any junior coach I'd seen in the States. And I'm going, where am I?
That's good old days, man. That's where it started.
And you were a catcher. Did you think?
Yeah, I caught.
How many years did you catch? Because I got to tell you, if you would have stayed back there, it might have been a different ball game.
I'll tell you the story though. My dad caught. So when we came out of T-ball from Australia, from South Africa, I went behind the dish. It was, that's what my dad had always done. So that's what I was going to do. And man, I loved it. Getting the ball every day, you're controlling, every pitch, you're controlling the game. You can talk. You got the picture. You can see everything. And I love getting taken out at home plate. And, I was a smaller dude, but I bring it. But then when I got a little bit older, and the training squad with the Sydney Blue team, the Colts, I think it was, have a turn to me and goes, mate, if you want to get anywhere in baseball, you better get a bit away from the dish. You're too small.
Oh, that was the worst thing. That was the worst thing he could have ever told you.
Yeah, so what I did then, so I called for Australia under 16, and then under 18, I went to work with Wacker. I drove out of Coleman 4 days a week. It was about an hour and 10 drive straight from school. Coleman Reserve out in Lidcombe.
Know it well.
And Wacker every day with my ground balls, taught me how to play second. And I put my career down, and I said to him that the infielder that I was, purely because of the time and effort that he gave to me.
That's awesome. Making that transition. And that's where you ended up. That's where I saw you and competed against you. That's where you represented Australia on the national level for the men. That's where you went and played college baseball for Wallace. That was the stepping stone for you, was, going to the middle infield. But as a scout, knowing that how good you would have been behind the dish and how important it is to be able to catch and throw as a catcher, which you were good at, that you might have been an easier road for you personally.
Only problem was I wasn't hitting the ball over the fence, mate. That's not what I was getting paid for.
That's right.
And back then, and as you know, everything goes through these peaks and valleys of what the scouts are looking for, what the potential, the teams. At that time was, catchers got to hit bombs. That's it.
Yeah.
So,
believe it or not, most important thing about catching is catch, your defensive catching. Throw is number 2. Power hits 3. Hit for average is 4.
Now it is.
Yeah. And running is 5. So for a lot of guys, that's a spot. I told Lockie Vela to go behind the dish because he thought he was a shortstop. And I'm like, dude, you're not a shortstop, but go behind the plate.
Yeah.
If he would have been in the AYC behind the plate last year, he would have had some guys on him, but put him in the middle infield. And he's got a good glove and good hands, but you don't project as in middle infield.
No, correct. Not at that next level. It's quicker.
Yeah. Those tools in preferential order for middle infield are a lot different. Running's right up there. So it's different.
Yeah.
But man, let's talk about this career that you had playing baseball for Australia. Because, man, you went to the Olympics. You won a silver medal. Man, you were right in the middle of it when those Aussies were as good as they've ever been. And the teams that you had, what I liked about your teams, they were gritty. You had dirtbags. You had veterans and you had young players. Your pitchers were older stud guys. Adrian Marr was unreal in 2000 Olympics at 40. So it was always a mixture of old guys and young guys, and you got to be a part of that.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was special.
Let's go back to Wallace Community College, because at one point you've done all you can do here in New South Wales. We're not getting a lot of opportunities at that point for kids to go to college. It was more like get signed or nothing. And you were one of the few guys at that point in the mid-90s, late 90s that went to college to play baseball.
Yeah, it was, I'll never forget, it was just before I went over to the World Cup in Brandon, Manitoba. I got offered $10,000 by the Boston Red Sox. And I thought, Christmas is here, man. I got home to tell my mum, and she goes, absolutely not. I go, what do you mean? She goes, we're about to go overseas. You've got about 15 offers from different colleges. We're going to go and have a look at them. If they want you now playing 1 day a week, you're going to go to college, you're going to get a degree, and you'll be better. And back then, I hated her for that decision. But right now, where I am and who I am as a person and my career, was going over there. So what we did is we went played the World Cup in Brandon, Manitoba. My mum and dad came over. We had a couple of days off, and they flew to Iowa. And since that date, I don't think my mum or dad has had another piece of corn.
And Wallace, that's a little different culture where you ended up going to college. We're talking South, rednecky country, rural. And that's a big adjustment from South Africa and Sydney. It's a big adjustment.
Yeah, I'm gonna add another dimension to that, Tad. You forgot to say the Bible Belt.
Oh, well,
so
I indicated it. Most Americans know when I mentioned that, they knew it was the Bible Belt, but you're absolutely right. And I went to school in the Bible Belt, too.
The reason I said that is, you got, let's add the layers. You got a kid from Sydney to go to Wallace State Community College in Hansville, Alabama, in the Bible Belt with one traffic light in it and the only Hebrew in a gas tank full.
Right. In a few states, maybe, for sure.
Correct.
My
goodness. That being said, Tad, it's I went to visit quite a few colleges and landed up going to meet Coach Putman at Wallace. And I walked into his office and it just felt like home. So you got all these recruiters that I've been around and I've been seeing, and they'll tell you everything you want to hear, but you got to be able to feel it and you got to connect. Because coming from Australia, and even at that age I recognized it, coming from Australia, people don't know what you're about to leave. So growing up in high school and mum and dad are there and you're not sure about something, you leave something at home, call mum and she'll pick it up for you. But mate, you get over there, you're on your own. So you're an 18-year-old that's never done that. Don't really travel like the Americans travel during high school. So when Coach started talking, I could feel it. And I just said to my dad right away, I said, Dad, this is where I want to play. And one thing that I've done my whole life and my brother's done his whole life is we never regret. We make our decision and then we make the most of it. So, a little background behind that is that I lost twin brothers when I was 4 and 7. So we've gone through grief as a family and we know what adversity is and we know how to go through grief. So, we're a tight bond. We know what it is and you just get after it. You get an opportunity, you make the most of it. You never promise tomorrow, man.
And you did that at Wallace. You had 2 really, really good years. You enjoyed it fully. Because I remember when you came back, you told me how much you got out of it and what it meant to you to go and do it. And that was kind of, right after that, it opened up the floodgates. And now tons of kids are going to us from Australia to the United States to play college baseball. And, man, I've had a bunch myself that I've aided in that process. And for me, it's the best thing you could do. Because you go over there, you get an education. You got to compete with Americans. You got to show up every day. You come back here, you kick everybody's butt because everybody's kind of going through the motions here. And if you want to do something special and extraordinary, you can do it. And I've watched a lot of you guys come back here and become very important parts of communities, very important parts of the development of sports, very important parts of economic development, and very important parts of taking care of families.
Yeah, very much so. It was a special time. It was such a special time for me to go over there and live a different culture, meet new people. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning these days. No one else will talk to me, so I'm still speaking. I'm still speaking to my American college roommates and my teammates.
That's awesome.
I'll speak to at least 3 or 4 teammates a week.
Wow, that is really cool and very special and unique, but it shows the bond that baseball creates. And being on a college team, I got to tell you, playing in college, you're really on teams. You feel like you're a part of a team. I played a lot of years in pro ball where I didn't feel like that. I came here to Australia. Mm-hmm. You get on a team in Australia. Petersham, for instance, that was a team that you were on for many, many years. That was a team. My Cronulla Sharks, they were a team. It's a different feeling. And you don't get to do it a lot in pro ball because everybody's just individuals trying to get to the big leagues. And when you're playing here in Australia, people get behind you. And that's something that I miss about the game is that teammate camaraderie.
Yeah, that's why we play the game.
That's right.
The love of the game and to have your boys with you.
Yeah.
You just I'll give you an example. which I'm sure we'll talk about, is my son's over at college now, but last year in the under-18 team, he had some stress fractures in his back. So it was his last year that he could play in it. And maybe 2 months before the tournament, we had an MRI, stress fractures, he's out. And he turns to me and he goes, "Dad, I can't believe it. I've worked my whole life for this, and now it's gone." And I turned to him, I said, "Kel, what you got to understand, this is a point in time in your life right now. We don't play for the destination, we play for the journey. Now, the last 6 to 8 months, you have busted your ass with your teammates. You've run stairs, you've joked around." I said, "That's what baseball is about, the journey and the camaraderie." It is. It's I run a charity now. I'm a CEO of a charity. I did a kinesiology degree 30 years ago at college, but it's a people's game.
Yeah, it really.
You got to know how to deal with people and personalities and get the most out of each individual working with you, working for you. And that's what you learn in baseball and in team sports. So, somebody asked me the other day, I had a meet with the CEO of this big company. They said, "Where did you do your PhD?" I said, "Life, bro."
That's right. Day to day.
I said, Alabama, Louisiana, the Catskills.
Absolutely. Don't go away. We have more from young Gavin Fingleson when we return to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by Ticara Collective.
Hey, this is Mike Myers, former left-handed pitcher of the Major League Baseball, played 13 years. Everybody out there, listen to the Sandlot, have a great time, enjoy the summer, and keep on swinging for the fences.
When it comes to building your dream pool, experience matters. For 33 years, Freestyle Pools Sydney has delivered quality pools that stand the test of time. Brothers Rob and Ben personally manage every job from start to finish, working closely with skilled, reliable tradies who take pride in their work. With regular industry award-winning builds, the quality of Freestyle Pools truly stands out. Experience, craftsmanship, and service you can trust. Freestyle Pools Sydney, built for life.
GYG has just reinvented the Caesar with our new Caesar salad, Caesar burrito, and Caesar Cali burrito. And I bet you didn't know that Caesar was created in Tijuana, Mexico over 100 years ago by Caesar Cardini. And now we have made the Caesar uniquely GYG.
Crunchy Cos lettuce, free-range grilled chicken, or gourmet Caesar dressing, shredded jack cheese, and GYG's corn chips crushed. GYG Caesar, created in Mexico, reinvented by GYG.
Terramar Collective isn't just a brand, it's a tribute. Born from the Southern California coast and inspired by the legacy of a father who helped shape the board riding world literally. Terramar Collective repurposes vintage flannels and rare finds, blending timeless style with surf heritage. Honor the past, wear the story. Find us on Instagram at Terramar Collective.
I was pretty much decided for me to play baseball when I was born.
The Sandlot's where it all starts, doesn't it?
I wasn't bigger than everybody. I just threw harder.
It doesn't take any talent to hustle.
If you don't pull for the Dodgers, there's a good chance you may not get into heaven.
Something happening here. What it is.
And man, what a journey it's been. And you've had your family with you. We mentioned before, your brother Larry played in the ABL. He still holds. He's tied because somebody tied him. But this dude went 6 for 6 in an ABL game. And it's a stat that always stuck out for me because 6 for 6 is an impossible thing to do. You usually don't get 6 at bats. You're not going to get 6 hits. It's such a rare thing. And he did it in a pro game in the ABL. Your bro Larry.
Yeah.
And
he's a legend. He's my role model, man.
Yeah. Like, you know what? And he always was a guy that was a tough out. And I pitched against that dude a lot. And I was like, man, he's not an easy out. And you weren't either. You know, I'd just be like, God, this little dude, what am I going to do here? I hope he can ground out or something. But let's talk about the journey that you just went through with Cal, because it's different when you're the guy doing it as a player, a young man. man, it was a lot harder for me when I put my kids through it. It was hard. It was hard to watch them struggle. It was hard to watch them fail. And part of the process is picking the right place. Let's talk about how you went about doing that, because it's not the easiest decision.
Yeah, it's not an easy decision, and I'm sure you went through it as well. Like you said, you the best way for them to learn is to fail, because when they're in Australia, if you're in that top echelon, which is not very big, you don't fail, because underneath it, I'm going to get you out as much. So the kids here that succeed in Australia, they really think that at the top until they get overseas. And you got better players, you got more polished players, you got players that are technically sound because they've been playing every day. And suddenly these kids turn around and go, oh, shit, look at me, like I'm not all that I thought I was. And a lot of them come home.
Yes.
Because they're not used to failing. The thing about Cal, and I'm sure you did with your kids, is that we've done the journey. We do want them to fail and feel it, but we also don't want them to make the mistakes that we make. So we can preempt what's going to happen. And I guess I got lucky a little bit. Everything that I told Cal that was going to happen prior happened. So he's now sitting back going, Dad must know what he's talking about. So that created a trusting, bonding relationship when it came to that. Because I know when I was in the States and I was having a bad day, I didn't want to tell my mum or dad, because one, what are they going to do? Two, they're going to say, come back. Three, my dad would never say that, but he's going to deal with it.
And three, it cost $100 a minute back then.
Correct. I had to go and buy a calling card.
Yeah.
So what happens now is that Cal calls me. Cal calls me and goes, Dad, remember I did this, had a game. He can have that relationship with me. I've opened it up, which is helping him through it, because he knows that I've been there through it. So we'll sit on the phone and cry together. No issue. Mate, you've got it. You've got to let it out. You feel it. But I know that it resonated to him, what we've been speaking about, when I got a long message back from him and he writes, sun goes down, tomorrow sun comes up, it's a new day. Now, I've been telling him that for 2, 3, 4 years, and he's never reacted to it until he came back and he wrote that. So he's obviously sat there, he's processed, you're the GOAT today, you're a failure tomorrow, what are you going to do with it? It's a new day, you can't change the past, but you can learn from it. And, he will go through he'll go through more failures, but at least he's a little bit more equipped on how to deal with it. And if he's not, he knows that I'm clear that I've been there and I can help him through it.
You know, I spent some time with Lockie Westdad this afternoon, and Lockie's in JUCO in Washington, and I love the kid. He's a good catch and throw guy, and he's a little undersized. And he's in a position right now where am I going to redshirt? What am I going to do? And I just told him to just grind it out until they make you make a decision, because somebody could go down, somebody could drop out, somebody could flunk out, somebody could break their hammock bone, and the next thing you know, you're right in there. So outwork everybody the next 4 or 5 weeks and see where you end up. If it's not going to be any game time for Lockie, red shirt.
Yeah. See, that's another thing that people don't recognize or realize, that you've got an Australian coming over to America. We're taking one of their spots, man. It's not a gimme. And you're not like, oh, mate, here's a savior. It's like, my mate card didn't make the team because you're on here, so what are you going to do? So, yeah, to a point, we've got to prove what we need. We've got to prove it. We've got to earn it. And that's why a lot of the American coaches are now recruiting. I think I spoke to Willow the other day. I think there's over 150 kids at college this year, Australian kids, because the coaches want them because they're going to bust balls. Yep. It's not automatic that you're born, they open up a bank account for your college and you're going to go to high school, you're going to play high school ball, and then you're going to play college ball. No, like over here, we want to stay over there, we want to get better. This is awesome to us. So it's not as easy as it seems when people go, yeah, I'm fine to college. No, mate, you got to prove yourself, not just to the coaches, but to your teammates. You got to earn that.
And you got to prove it to yourself, because you go over there feeling like you're the man, and then when you get there, you realize you're just one of 80 men, and they're all trying to do the same thing you're doing, and you got to outwork somebody. And so you can't take a back seat. You can't be passive. You got to be aggressive. You got to take your spot. And it's not the easiest thing to do. So, but man, it turns you into from a little boy to a grown man very quickly.
Yeah, that's for sure. Cal just got back. He was there for 5 months. He's a totally different kid. And I remember coming back my freshman year in the fall, driving home from the airport and telling my mum, like, I feel like I'm so much more mature. And as a dad, that's all you want. You want growth. You want growth with your kids. I love Australia. This is my home, but we're on an island. we're on an island.
And you got to hit your way off. You don't walk your way off this island. As a matter of fact, another example of this is Travis had unbelievable success at Oregon. Like he hit over 400 the last couple of years. His first non-real success was when he got to the minor leagues, because you're hitting 400 for a couple of years straight, and then you go win MVP of the Cape Cod League and all that stuff. You're having success. Then you go to the minor leagues and there's 97 every day, and you're taking at bats every day, and you come out and you're hitting 267. That's a lot more failure. That's failing at a normal rate, like everybody does.
Yeah.
And it was hard for him in the beginning because he hadn't failed in quite a while. But man, you get into pro ball, you hit 267, you're doing okay. Just keep doing that.
Correct. Correct.
You're not hitting 400. It ain't happening.
No. Tony Gwynn couldn't do it. No one else is going to do it.
An Aussie hit 400 for a whole minor league career once, David Nielsen. But he was different. That dude was potential 400 hitter. He had different everything. And you got to play with him. You got to see it. Man, he could hit.
Could hit.
I don't think an Aussie's ever hit like that since.
No. Agreed.
And I'd like to see it because we get some pitchers up there. I want to see an everyday position player that's an impact guy. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Maybe.
It'll happen. We've got good athletes, man.
Well, Travis is close, and he could be that guy, and he's projected to be that guy. Once he is.
And he's got the right mindset. He's got the right mindset, and he will. Stay healthy, and he's got a chance.
Yeah, and he's a kid that had a vision at a young age, stuck with the vision. And a lot of kids don't have that. They don't look ahead to where they could be and then actually take the steps to get them there. It's easy, way easier said than done, Gav.
That's for sure. But nothing's easy. You want it, you got to go and get it.
This dude's sporting a silver medal from the Olympics from 2004. He represented Australia. He's been to the United States playing college baseball. He's one of the best players that I ever competed against in Australia. And I put him in with the Cubs, and there was always, you can sign one guy a year if you're lucky. And every year I'd put in 8, 10 Aussies. They'd maybe let me get one. And they'd always give you the reasons why. He doesn't have enough at-bats. We got guys that have got 400, 800 at-bats more than that guy, right?
Yeah, that's all right. Here's what it is, man.
Hey, and look at where you're sitting now, bro. CEO. Oh, buddy. He's Gavin Fingleson. He's an Olympian. He's one of my good mates. I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Sandlot, and I'll be following young Cal Fingleson there in JUCO, Texas baseball, and I know he's going to tear it up. He's going to have a great year, and it's going to be the stepping stone for his future, just like it was for you, Gav.
Absolutely. He's forging his own path, though.
I know. Hey, say hi to that family for me. I miss old Frankie. Every time I see him, he brings joy to me. He makes me smile, so I hope I get to see him soon.
Will do. You're a legend.
Thank
You're a
you so
legend.
much.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for listening to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. I would like to thank all of today's guests on the Sandlot. It was our absolute honor to have Ticara Geldenhuis, one of the best young women's professional baseball players in the world, along with baseball lifer. He started playing T-ball in South Africa, later represented Australia in the Olympics, and won a silver medal. Gavin Fingleson. We also had our Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast champion character of the week from this week's camp at Janali. The Sandlot camp featured Leo V. Hill. Remember, you can listen to the latest Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast every weekend on the SiriusXM Radio MLB Network podcast platform and on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Pandora, Apple Music, and Simplecast. Please explore the Sandlot Radio Network Facebook and Instagram pages for video content with the major league players. Also, check out sandlotradionetwork.com, our website, for photos and reels from our long history of covering everything from the Sandlot to the big leagues. The Sandlot has been presented by Ticara Collective and sponsored by the Sandlot Radio Network, Grit Sports Collective, Guzman y Gomez, GYG, the best Mexican in Australia, and Freestyle Pools Sydney, pools that withstand the test of time. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. I'm your host, Tad Powers.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter? For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
Is this heaven?
It's Iowa. Is there a heaven?
Oh, yeah. It's the place dreams come true.
Hey, Dad? You want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Do you want more than just wins for your kids? Do you want confidence, character, and grit? At Grit Sports Collective, we help young athletes play with purpose and train with passion. With elite coaching in baseball and basketball, we're building more than skills, we're building competitors. Because greatness starts with mindset and is earned through sweat. Grit Sports Collective. Play fierce, train harder. Now enrolling in San Diego, California. Visit gritsportscollective.com and sign up today.
GYG has just reinvented the Caesar with our new Caesar salad, Caesar burrito, and Caesar Cali burrito. And I bet you didn't know that Caesar was created in Tijuana, Mexico over 100 years ago by Caesar Cardini. And now we have made the Caesar uniquely GYG.
Crunchy Cos lettuce, free-range grilled chicken, or gourmet Caesar dressing, shredded jack cheese, and GYG's corn chips crushed. GYG Caesar, created in Mexico, reinvented by GYG.
When it comes to building your dream pool, experience matters. For 33 years, Freestyle Pools Sydney has delivered quality pools that stand the test of time. Brothers Rob and Ben personally manage every job from start to finish, working closely with skilled, reliable tradies who take pride in their work. With regular industry award-winning builds, the quality of Freestyle Pools truly stands out. Experience, craftsmanship, and service you can trust. Freestyle Pools Sydney, built for life.
Ticara Collective isn't just a brand, it's a tribute. Born from the Southern California coast and inspired by the legacy of a father who helped shape the board riding world literally. Ticara Collective repurposes vintage flannels and rare finds, blending timeless style with surf heritage. Honor the past, wear the story. Find us on Instagram at Ticara Collective.